The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. One of the oldest motor racing venues in the country, Knoxville Raceway, is proud to be deemed as the sprint car capital of the world. While the venue is most known for the Knoxville Nationals, it's certainly not immune to the big block modifieds, which is what we have on our hands this evening. Tonight, the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series heads to the famous fairgrounds in Iowa for race number 3 of their season. Welcome everybody to PTRTV, where we do have race number 3 of the TNR Big Block Modified Series here, and giving you the one-man show is myself, Corey Silva, both giving you the pictures and giving you the commentary here this evening. Of course, last week we had a great race from the Lanier Raceplex where we saw a fantastic finish. Carson Sylvester pulling off the fantastic finish there at the very end with Brady Cornett. Nearly had that big move by Bobby Trapper on the outside. Unfortunately for Trapper, was not able to retain and keep the win there, but absolutely fantastic racing. But now we go to a track a lot bigger, have a lot more room around this place, a lot more speed, a lot more lanes, we think. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys do fare this evening here at Knoxville, as qualifying currently on the docket right now. Hot laps here to get ourselves ready for the heat races. Trying to see who's on track right now. Carson Sylvester, last week's winner. If memory does serve anyways. I'm almost positive he was, but memory does slip me quite often. So currently he is on the board right now. Well, actually he's currently on his flyer right now. Gavin Manning top of the board thus far with a 1938 here. We are starting on a pretty fresh track. Brady Cornett goes top of the board with a 1917. But we'll see what Sylvester can do here. Let's see where he goes. P2 with a 19.2. We'll switch it over here and give you the horizontal ticker, just that way you can see the times a little bit easier here. So Sylvester just that little bit slower on lap number 2. Can he run a little bit faster? Answer to that question is no. Ran about a 10th slower that last lap. Here comes Bobby Trapper with a 1926, basically tied with Brewer. You can see 3rd through 6th, separated by 1/100th of a second. These times absolutely on top of each other here this evening, so should prove to give us some great racing. So the format that we do have, at least based on what we see, I see the car count here right around 16, 17 guys. So I think we're going to have a similar situation to last week, with having 3 heats and then a 35-lap feature event. Each of the heats having about 10 laps, and we will be inverting, again, based on what I saw with the iRacing telemetry. We'll be inverting 4 guys per heat into the feature. Really, I've been on like about 2-week hiatus with my throat here, so forgive me for some pauses as I try to grab some water. But yes, we will have 3 heats, I believe, transferring 4 of them inverting 4 of them, so we'll have 12 of them inverted. We did have some interesting comments in our post-race show last week about that and how the invert did affect the end of the race, but you know, you gotta race with the rules that we do have. We want to thank our presenting sponsor of today's race, Master Millwright, of course, also the league sponsor as well. So thanks to them for helping out, and our cameras here this evening. Brought to you by Whiplash Media SimCam. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check them out. But the timer is scrolling down to 0 here, and we are getting ready for the first of the heat. So we're going to get ready for that. We do have here some back-end data. Jason Freeman, one of the admin here in the series, currently having some technical problems, so not sure how that is going to fare for him. But either way, heat number 1 getting ready to get underway here. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup for it. We have Sam Bachman on the front row with Bobby Puckett, Bobby Trapper at third, Brady Cornett in fourth, Travis Brockner, and not Brady Cornett because he's the one that, rather Jason Freeman in sixth, who is having some technical problems here, so I'm not sure if he is going to be able to make it. As you can see, our track state here. We had a fresh track for practice. The track did restart to approximately 15% wear for qualifying, which is essentially next to nothing. So it's more or less a perfectly clean track. And then we will be taking this existing track state and it will be building upon for the feature. So the feature will be on a lot more wore out track after 3 heats of racing. We'll see what happens. Of course, last week at Lanier, everyone was kind of glued to the bottom of the track. That apron, that apron little transition on the bottom just held so much moisture. That's where the speed was. We'll see what happens here at Knoxville. A lot of times, you know, if you can, that berm, everyone has a hard time running the berm on the inside. So a lot of times if you can absolutely nail it, there is enough moisture down there to keep the speeds high. But a lot of times this will move up, and even in the big blocks, we can see guys rocking the fence here against the famous guardrails here at Knoxville. But getting ready for the start of the race, Sam Bachman in that 007, he's going to be the one to get the festivities underway. Pace truck takes the hard left into the pit road here at Iowa, and let's see what happens. Waiting for the green flag to fly on heat race number 1, and there it is. We're racing here at Knoxville. Very slow start there. You can see some 3 wide right off the get-go. The 41 of Bobby Puckett took a 3 wide to the top of the track, but the top is not where you want to be on the opening lap. There's not enough speed to make that work. Brady Cornett looking in the middle here for a 3 wide. Bobby Trapper down to the inside as Sam Bachman's going to go first to third here in 1 lap. Trapper is going to slide up the track. Cornett is going to have the inside to his avail here, coming into 3, still side by side with Trapper. Let's see what groove is going to prevail here off of 4. Right on the berm there was Cornett. Into the fence there is Trapper. That's going to open the door for Bachman to the bottom of the racetrack, but it looks like that middle groove is where you want to be, at least thus far. Lap number 3 in the heat race. Travis Brockner and then Bobby Puckett just behind here. Missed something there with Sam Bachman there. Let's go back on replay. I might be saying his name wrong, doing the best I can with it, but let's see what happened here on replay. I have a vibe as to what happened. Headed down the back. He just got a little bit over-rotated there, and then looks like just got some help, and that slowed him up, got caught up on the berm here. We'll get switched back to live footage. And Cornett up front. You can see these two have pulled away by about 2 seconds over Brockner. That little incident there definitely slowed and separated the pack up. Remember, you will get inverted So starting up front in the heat will hurt you in the feature, but the points are also given in the heat for the finishing spot, so you do get that incentive of having those points awarded for a solid run. It's just going to hurt you in the 35-lap feature. Remember, caution laps do not count, which last week we did go into overtime and had cautions aplenty, as we have a battle for the lead. 16R Trapper looking to the inside. Cornet using that middle groove, and now Trapper really rocking the berm there on the inside, getting that left front in the air against the fence here. You go on board. See, really getting that left front on the berm. It can help you rotate on top of maintaining some of that moisture and keeping that grip built up. Seeing if these guys get off the bottom, but that berm really seeming to be the way to get around this place. Going to make it hard for Trapper to do anything if the line stays right on that inside groove. Nothing really going on behind that with Brockner, Puckett, and Bachman there rounding out the field, but it looks like here as we come to the white flag lap for heat race number 1, excuse me, about a 1 car length lead. Trapper's going to drive it in a little bit deep here, see if he can get a run off a 2. Looks like Cornet will be able to persevere, but here comes Trapper with a look, drove it on the berm there. That'll cost him a couple car lengths, and Cornet will win the heat with ease. Brockner, Puckett, and Bachman round out the heat finishing order. So we'll get ourselves quickly reset, and the guys for heat race number 2 will take to the speedway. Another 6 drivers here. We got Nathan Barold on the front row with Kyle Rochinski in second, Mike Brewer in third, Carson Sylvester in fourth, then Eric Bonham, and then Duante Carter. Going to be the 6th guys for heat race number 2. Got a pretty quick race here. These races do fly by. Again, we'll see mainly how clean the feature ends up being, and we had a lot of cautions last week. Haven't had a caution in the heat races yet. I think we did at our last event, so interesting to see how that does transpire once we get all 17 of these guys on the grid for the feature. Didn't bring up the weather here this evening. Cloudy skies, 71 in the air, with the clay being around 58, so should help it retain some moisture. We'll see what happens here. Again, when you hear little awkward pauses of silence, I am really holding back a cough I just cannot shake. So if you hear awkward silence, that's what it is. Sorry, I'm just doing the best I can. One-man show. I don't have anyone to bounce anything off of, but we'll see what happens here as they do get doubled up and stacked up. 6 cars strong. Heat race number 2. Inside pole sitter Nathan Merrill. Inside didn't work too well on that last start, because we did accelerate very late in the zone. But we'll see what happens this time by. Barney the flagman has the green in hand. Pace truck is in. Let's get it waved. And again, I think the green flag is just flying very late, and it's really throwing these guys off. Merrill, you can see, second time in a row, the pole sitter really at a disadvantage on the get-go. Brewer in the 39 is going to take full advantage of it. 21 of Kyle Rochinski running the top, has the momentum built up. Here he comes with a run there off of 4, but doesn't have enough to pull alongside. So he will fall back into line. Does Brewer there, and Merrill will be second. Carson Sylvester, we know the speed he has. He's currently in third. Kyle Rochinski, he is just all over the place right now, and that will bring out a caution flag. Didn't quite see what happened to it live, but definitely Rochinski had some issues there on our PTRTV replay. Hit the wall there off of 4, and just once he hit the wall on the front straightaway, just gave him a loop around, but I don't think that should have any lasting impact for him. He will just lose the track position and fall back to 6th. But again, very interesting to see that the green flag is just flying so late here. And it's just, I think the leaders are just really having a hard time timing it. And when they get on the throttle so abruptly, it's really just kind of lifting the left front in the air and getting them squabbly. And they're just not able to get up to speed as smoothly as they would like to. So it'll be interesting to see if perhaps Brewer can be the first one who has control of the race to actually retain the lead through the first set of corners. And we'll have at least one more lap of pacing by the looks of it here. Pace truck rather this evening. Still has the lights on. And we will be on the docket for one more heat race here this evening. It may be a 5-car grid, not quite sure, but then we will lead ourselves into the feature event, which will be 35 laps with everybody, and of course the invert. And then next week, you want to make sure you stay tuned next week for race number 4. We will be headed to the bull ring at Lima Land, followed by Eldora, Kokomo, and Port Royal as the next races on our schedule. But here we go, getting ready for a restart. Let's see what happens as the pace truck pulls in. Early on the loud pedal is Brewer there. That gives him that advantage we talked about heading into 1. He's going to have a car like the 2 on Sylvester, but Sylvester trying to run that lane up the track. Doesn't quite have enough mojo up there, at least at the moment. But he's trying to make some time up through the center of the corner here. Go on board with him. Kind of run right through the slick there. Now he's up into that second lane. Kind of dig there in that second groove, seeing if there's momentum to be had up there. Kind of got a little bit of a run-on exit here, but look at him just drive right to the center of the corner, right to the right rear tire of Mike Brewer here. Now, what's Brewer going to do? Is Brewer going to try to go up there and see if he can make that lane work? Yes, he is. He's going to pull the slider for defense, pull up right up there in the center of the corner, but he's lifting that left front, cost him some speed on the exit of 2. Sylvester is going to keep a straighter wheel up there, and here he comes maintaining that run through the center of the corner on exit. Should be door-to-door for the lead here with 2 to go in the heat. Merrill just behind, I believe someone on their lid back there. Bonham and Carner had issues, but we're going to stay green. And their delayed caution there may have been an admin caution, not quite sure, but let's go back on replay. Definitely had some acrobatics from somebody there. Rochinski in the 484 livery with, I think that was Eric Bonham there. Just some contact between the two of them, and Rochinski's day goes from bad to worse with the acrobatics there on the exit of the corner. We'll put this heat into an overtime, as lap number 10 has already elapsed, so we will have some bonus laps to decide this heat. It's really just going to be Brewer, Sylvester, and then Merrill with Rochinski and Carner, excuse me, out of the race. So it's just going to be a 3-car dash as the lights are out on the pace vehicle for heat race number 2. So you saw Brewer go really early. He went right on the cue of the pace car last time by. And that really gave him the run, and the other driver, I think it was Merrill on the outside of the racetrack, really struggled. And the pace truck is in, and then it seemed very early again, but I think they were a little bit more ready for it that time by, as the 21 of Rochinski exits the track, nearly goes on off the berm there into the path of the leaders. Luckily that is not the case, but Sylvester going to the bottom of the track as Brewer runs the top. There's not enough juice there on the bottom, but Sylvester is going to be right there. White flag for the heat. Brewer rocking the top of the track. Sylvester trying to run that second lane since it was available to him. Just doesn't have enough speed. But what's going to happen here in 3? Sylvester kind of runs through the slick there. Couldn't hold it on the berm, but he has enough bite off the corner. Who's going to get it at the stripe? Sylvester's going to get the win there using the bottom of the track. What a nice bit of driving there. Brewer just didn't quite hit his marks and got him at the stripe, did Sylvester. Great bit of driving there. Great racing between the two of them. And now we will get ready for the final of the heats here on the evening. Heat race number 3, and as predicted, a 5-car starting lineup. Starting off for this heat race, we have Dean Reynolds in the 79, Brian Rubel in the 1. He's going to be second, with Zach Weisenfluh in third, Gavin Manning in fourth, and Carter Rochinski rolling off in the 5th spot. So again, with the 17-car grid, of course, one driver short of even grids, but we'll see what happens with the 5 of them. Again, a great bit of driving there by Sylvester, showing that inside, if you can run it right, and you can be patient and use that finesse to keep it right on the bottom of the track, right on the berm, you can really plant that left front, get it to bite, and use that inside to your advantage. But if you miss it by a wheel, you're going to be into the slick, and then you're going to lose time sliding up through it. But that's why a lot of drivers are starting to move up the track. See 1 and 2, you can see that kind of the darkened area on the bottom of the track. We're seeing guys run that second lane and try to utilize the freshness of that dirt and get the momentum up off of it. I don't think we're going to be heading to the wall here in this race. Even in the feature, it doesn't look like the track is wearing up as much. Turn 3, maybe a little bit more wear there, especially on the entry of the corner, but center off, definitely still a lot of grip on the bottom of the track. Pace truck is in. We'll see what is going to happen here. Dean Reynolds, our control vehicle, and contact there on the get-go. What's going on here? What is up with that start? No idea. Contact with Reynolds and Rubel there right off the get-go. Here comes Zach Weisenfluh going 3 wide to the inside, or at least trying at it. Heading into 3, we're going to be 3 wide for the race lead. Rubel running higher on the track than we've seen anybody run this evening. Well in the loose stuff in the 4th lane, but look at the crossover move, high-low. Rubel goes high, Rubel crosses underneath. Reynolds off a 2, runs side by side, door to door, down the back straightaway, running that inside lane, trying to do the slider, but Reynolds has enough momentum to hold position on the outside of the track, with Weisenfluh trying to figure out where to go. Just behind there, side by side for the lead. Weisenfluh really trying to rock the berm there on the inside, trying to go the 3 wide effort, but just can't quite do it. Nearly some contact between Weisenfluh and Rubel there. Again, Rubel's kind of the odd man out, running the groove nobody wants to be in the middle of the track, but he's doing it with great patience and with great car control there, rocking the middle of the track. Weisenfluh really dedicated to the bottom, but let's see what happens with Rubel trying to go higher on the track this time, trying to get the momentum up high, even higher than what Reynolds is doing, but the momentum is not there. Got a little bit loose, opens the door for Weisenfluh to the inside. Gavin Manning now trying to see what he can do, kind of rides the berm there off a 2, got the left front in the air. Keep the left front on the track, you got to get that bite. If you get it bouncing off the berm, you're going to lose the speed. But again, trying that 3 wide. Rubel really try to use that 3rd, 4th lane, but just not really having the success up there. Reynolds is really seeming to do it with a high success rate here, starting to pull away just a little bit. And there's through the center there. It looks like Rubel found something, but some contact between Rubel and Weisenfluh there. Again, Carter Rochinski just as record about 5 seconds off of this battle, but here we come 3 wide down the back into 3. Big move by Gavin on the bottom. That's going to push him into Weisenfluh, and then pushes him up into Rubel, who does the acrobatics. Kind of figured that eventually something was going to happen there. They were just they were at it for so long that something had to give. See on replay here, Rubel to the top, Gavin and Manning. He's in the middle, now he's on the bottom of the track. They're 3 wide. He hit the curb there, I mean rather the berm. When he hit the berm, it threw him into Weisenflew, and Weisenflew naturally had Rubel to his outside, and luckily for Rubel, he stuck the landing. Now, how much damage he has and how that thing is driving is a different story, but at least he does have the car still on track, and I don't see what position he's registered in right now. We have to wait for the scoring to update in just a moment. We do have to, in case you didn't notice last week, we do have to kind of ignore the data on the ticker when the cautions are out. When the caution do not see, well, obviously with the caution laps not counting, iRacing scoring just kind of goes completely haywire, which reflects on the scoring pylon. So just kind of ignore that. It will kind of situate itself out. At least as it stands, preliminarily, everybody is going to still be on the lead lap. Which, seeing as we had guys upside down, is actually rather impressive to still have everyone running on the lead lap. But Reynolds looks like he is going to lead him down with Carter Rochinski, who, again, he was about 6 seconds behind everyone, but now he's going to restart on the outside of the front row. But Dean Reynolds, remember, he had that terrible restart which stacked everybody up last time by, but well, maybe he can do a better job this time. He will, but there's going to be contact there in the back. The 1 and the 24 just cannot stay off of each other. 24 is going to pull it to the behind the wall there. I think he may have had some suspension issues from all that contact. But Dean Reynolds is going to use all of this to his advantage. He's going to come off turn 4 with a sizable lead and take the white flag. Gavin Manning trying to take a last-ditch effort, as Brian Rubel is he's just parked in the middle of the track. Either way, we're going to come off of turn number 4. Manning took a shot at it, but the heat wind going to go to Dean Reynolds. So just a lot of interesting stuff going on there in that one. And now we are going to head down trackside for the feature event here. 35 laps, all 17 drivers on the raceway. And our feature starting lineup is as follows. Zach Weisenflew looks like he is going to be the leader, with Kyle Rochinski in second. We're going to have Bobby Puckett in third, Carter Rochinski in fourth, Nathan Merrill in fifth, Travis Brockner in sixth, Gavin Manning in seventh, Mike Brewer in eighth, Bobby Trapper in ninth, and rounding out our top 10, the heat winner Dean Reynolds, Carson Sylvester in 11th, Brady Cornett in 12th, Sam Bachman in 13th, Eric Bonham in 14th, Brian Rubel, Jason Freeman, who did make it onto the track after his technical issues, in 16th, and Duante Carter will head shotgun on this feature lineup. Freeman did have those technical issues, but luckily, I mean, he'll sacrifice the heat points, but at least he'll be on the grid for the feature, and to get the points at least for the main event here this evening. So Weisenflew, we know he has speed, so typically the slower guys are up front, but we know he has speed, so honestly the invert process actually kind of worked to his benefit, to be honest with you. I mean, Mike Brewer, as fast as he's been, back in 8th, Dean Reynolds in 10th, Sylvester in 11th, Cornett in 12th. Even Rubel showed some speed, so we will naturally have quite a bit of action with these guys trying to navigate up through the field, where eventually everybody does permeate where they're supposed to be. And we'll see how it does happen. We do know that they're not afraid, admins are not afraid to go to single file restarts, and we do have a new incident protocol system here with causes of caution. So we'll see how this race does shape up here, but getting ready for action here at Knoxville, the feature event, 35 lap Master Millwright Big Block Series. Pace truck is in. We're going to get ready for the feature event. The A main here is green here at Knoxville. Heading into turn number 1, Weisenfluh has a significant lead. I see some smoke there. Heading back through the field, trying to figure out if anything is going on. It looks like everybody is all right for that time being. 69 a Trapper. Again, rocking the top of the racetrack, trying to find something up there. Now going to the bottom of the track. That's where the gaggle is. Everyone just trying to find where to run at the moment. Battle for the lead as fireworks still going off here at Knoxville under the green flag. As Kyle Rochinski to the inside of Zach Weisenfluh. I mean, I'm not sure if the fireworks are supposed to go off under green, but I mean, I guess the fans probably like it, but Weisenfluh off of 2, using that outside, and Rochinski trying to rock that berm. He kind of missed the inside, slid into the slick there. That's going to work out for the benefit of the 24, but still, the 24, I don't know if that outside isn't quite working, but Rochinski can't take enough of an advantage of the inside, as again, the fireworks still going off. Not sure if that's going to happen all race or not, but the gaggle does go on just behind that. Bobby Puckett in the mess here, but as Bobby Trapper has managed to get through this mess. Some contact there with the 41, the 7, the 2 Brady Cornett. You know, he's a fast guy. He wants to get through this jungle of vehicles if he can. Up to 6th right now. Battle for the lead back underway between the 21 of Rochinski, Kyle Rochinski, and Zach Weisenfluh, but just through the slick there, there's just not enough space on the bottom. That one slip up that Rochinski may make is costing him, but this is allowing Gavin Manning to come back into the race as well. And then Gaggle, oh, Brady Cornett just behind. He really goes berm riding there. He's going to make some contact with the purple machine. That was Dean Reynolds, and that's going to cost him a couple positions. Gavin Manning really allowing this side-by-side to work in his benefit. But he's going to pull right back to the rear Nerf bar of Weisenfluh. And what's he going to choose to do? Where is he going to go? He's actually trying to go even higher than Weisenfluh is. Really pushing the loose stuff there, trying to find the best grip availables. Now we will have the caution wave. And we'll try to find the cause of it. And we immediately did. 151 of Travis Brockner. Looks like he came up the track perhaps on Sam Bachman, the 007, and does the barrel roll and sticks the landing. 9 out of 10 from the judge. So we'll see what scoring. It looks like scoring did give the 21 the lead there, so that side-by-side battle that just could not end through the caution gods, looks like they did give it to the 21 of Kyle Rochinski there. So we'll see if Weisenfluh is able to work some magic to get back by, but also what kind of restart is the leader going to get? It's been hit or miss how good these restarts have been for these guys this evening. So we'll have to see indeed if the leader can fire off and how early in the zone Rochinski's going to get him going. We've seen them going on the front straightaway right at the flag bin. We've seen them going right through the center of 3 and 4. Really just depends. Leaders do have the discretion. Looks like the fireworks have finally ceased here. Perhaps they will fire back off in celebratory fashion for the end of the race. From our blimp cam here, looks like we are getting ready. Oh, there goes the lights out on the pace vehicle. So Rochinski, not sure if they do have lane choice in the series. I think if they do, he's very indecisive about it. Looks like he will stay on the bottom. I'm not quite sure if they do. It hasn't really come out yet, but we'll see what happens. Looks like they're lining up. Rochinski to the inside, Weisenfluh to the outside, Trapper and Gavin Manning are populating row number 2. Pace truck pulls in. Looks like pretty early in the zone goes Rochinski there, but rather Manning was ready to pounce, and look at him right to the inside off the get-go here. Can he slide up? No, 21 of Rochinski's going to rock the top, and he's going to find enough momentum up there. But here comes Manning sending it in. He's riding the berm. He's going to slide up the track. 21's going to go for the crossover move here. Here comes Weisenflue trying to go for the 3 wide as he's been known to. But Rochinski using the bottom of the track. Maybe he had the opportunity to clear him, but for the time being, he chose to play nice. Now he's going to have to deal with the side-by-side on the bottom again. We saw how long it took him to make it work last time by, and he's going to have to fight it again, but this time with a different driver. Looks like that 51 really starting to run that higher lane. Brady Cornett, he's gotten through the jungle. He's up to 5th now. You expect him to close in on this. Bobby Trapper has closed in as well, running right on the berm there to the inside, maybe even looking underneath Kyle Rochinski in the 21. Now everyone's starting to run up to the top of the track. Gavin Manning running a lane off the fence. Maybe that's a little bit too high. Opens the door for Weisenflue to use the middle of the track. Let's see what Weisenflue does. Can he go for the slider? No, looks like that top of the track starting to show some speed. But Weisenflue trying to rock the middle if he can. Now that everyone's kind of rim riding here, that's going to open up the inside of the track. If you could find the moisture down low, that's going to leave that part of the track unused and maybe set up the slider line. But the 24 Weisenflue, he's going to run the middle. Manning's really finding that speed on the top, and Trapper getting loose there on the berm, and Kyle Rochinski doesn't know where to go with it. Now he's going to rock the top. He gets the position to the outside of the 24. Now he's going to go right to the back bumper. Contact in the center of the corner there with Weisenflue and Trapper. But look at the 21 of Rochinski. I think he's rocking the top. He's figured it out better than anybody else. He's going to get to the outside here for 2nd of Trapper. Now Gavin Manning goes back to the bottom, but look at Brady Cornett. Where did he come from? Now he's up to 3rd. Missed him all of a sudden out of nowhere. Weisenflue goes to the bottom. He's going to take it 3 wide. The inside. Cornett's going to be in the middle. Trapper to the top. Lap number 15 here at Knoxville in the A-Main. Everyone's right up against that fence now, trying to get all the moisture they can up against the wall. But when you're up against the fence, remember, you're taking a lot bigger of a risk of getting that right rear into the fence. Now you see them right back to the bottom of the track. Bobby Trapper running down there. You want to make a pass, you got to run where they're not. As I said, if you can use a ton of finesse and patience, and you can get that left front planted, you can still make that inside work. It's just the risk of missing is very high, as a caution will wave. Don't see anything overly obvious. See if the telemetry gives me anything. Looks like signs are pointing to, potentially pointing to Duante Carter. I'm looking here on the back end before I show anything on the screen. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. I think that just may have been one of those fluke cautions that just comes out. Again, it's very easy. On the dirt side of iRacing here, it's all algorithmic how caution comes out. The guy gets too sideways, he may not even spin the car out, but if he gets sideways enough, the way that the algorithms work, it'll sometimes throw a caution out, but it doesn't look like anybody really had any problems there. So it's going to be interesting to see it. Now we're at halfway at this point in the race, and you can really see how the track has progressed. I didn't think we would run the wall. Looks like they kind of skipped running that 4th lane that's already been dusted off, and now they've just gone straight to the fence. And it really makes you be super patient to make that bottom work. But the one thing to remember is when you run the top, it opens the slider line, because if you're running the top, whether the bottom's good or not, you're opening up that dive bomb attempt. And as these laps do come to a waning end, someone's going to do it. We saw it happen at Lanier, and I'm pretty sure we saw it at Volusia too. If the door is open, someone's going to shove it open. Let's see what happens here. Is it looks like Gavin Manning being registered as our race leader on the inside with Bobby Trapper up top. Lap 17 in the books. Let's take lap number 18 as soon as he can. Gavin Manning gets on that accelerator pedal. Green, green, green back here in the A main. But Brady Cornett, here he comes. Look at, he pulled that massive slider down on Trapper. Trapper had the crossover back to the inside. He's going to get him clear and retain that second position, but he's going to drive right through the slick there to the top of the track. Cornett is going to stick it right on the bottom of the track, try to use that finesse, entering turn number 1 here. And Cornett and Trapper having a whale of a race there. Trapper riding the berm there, trying to do the crossover back to the inside. That's going to cement him back in that second spot. But let's see what Cornett can do on that inside. Just as I say that, they roll reverse here. Cornett goes to the top, and Manning riding right on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to figure out who is going to do what, who is going to run where. It's really just kind of a flip a coin what's going to happen. Now you have Trapper here kind of stuck in the hornet's nest. You can see Cornett running the fence there. 38 of Sylvester trying to get himself back up. Weisenflew on the top of a 3 wide. That's Mike Brewer. He's been up and down quite a bit this race. Nearly some 4 wide racing. Dean Reynolds, one of our heat race winners, he's trying to stick his nose in the mess as well. This is the hornet's nest, third on back. We're just ahead. We have Sylvester and Cornett going for this race win. Rather, we have Manning and Cornett. Excuse me, the cars look so similar, easy to get them confused. But look at Cornett on the berm there, nearly got into the left rear there of Manning. Had to kind of back off there. Now they're going to go rim riding against the fence. Got to be very careful not to get that right rear into the fence. That could get you some damage here in these open-esque wheeled machines. Now they're going to go rim right on the bottom here. It's kind of a guessing game. You see it in NASCAR where what lane are you going to go? I'm going to take your air away. Well, I'm just going to block your line and kind of drive out of the mirror here. That's seeming to be what's happening. It looks like Cornett is going to drop back just a little bit. Now he's going to go to the top. Now they're going to run opposite lines. Manning to the bottom. Cornett to the top. They meet on exit, and the yellow flag waves. Travis Brockner having some more issues. See, coming off of 2, down the back. Oh, that's Zach Weisenflew. We'll have to go on replay and figure out what happened there, because that was an unforeseen cause. Contact there with Sylvester, and he was, it's kind of hard to tell. He was looking at a long slide and never could save it. And then ultimately Brockner just had nowhere to go. So very weird kind of chain of events there. Not really sure what happened with the 24, because it looked like he was just in a non-stop loop and he couldn't really do anything about it. So we're going to come down and take this restart with about 10 or 11 laps to go. And it's really hard to tell. I do believe the 2 Cornett is the faster vehicle, but it just really depends how they fire off. Because if Manning can retain the lead, I do think he can kind of mirror drive his way to a win, barring he doesn't make a mistake. But don't count out Trapper. Don't count out Brewer. Don't count out, I'm trying to see, Dean Reynolds, because when you have these guys, you know, 2, 3 wide underneath a blanket like this, we've seen sliders go wrong. We've seen people make mistakes and then take out other drivers. So let's really see how well this restart goes. I think Gavin's going to go as soon as the window opens, as soon as the green flag. As soon as he's able to go, I think he's going to go, but going in the slick, he's going to have a hard time getting the power down, and it looks like we are going to extend this caution one more time. If anything, it will be easier for Cornett, because he could just kind of run the top of the track and kind of keep it in the loose stuff. So when he wants to get on the accelerator, he'll have a much easier time to get the grip to stick there, to get the traction he needs to get that drive on the restart, where kind of the leader is almost in a more precarious position getting on the accelerator in the slick there. So I think that may have been some of the leading causes of some of these guys. Probably could see Maning's really trying to run them up the track and get the restart in the fresh clay, and he's going to get on that loud pedal, drive down the track. Look at Trapper there, hit the berm, trying to do the cut underneath and try to make the move on Cornette. But here we go, coming down 10 laps to go. Let's see how much defense can Manning play. He's going to kind of shut the door on Cornette there. Cornette really rocking the bottom with success, using that finesse, using that patience down on the berm here. The 51's really going to have to make the top work this time. Huge crossover move by Cornette there. The 51's going to get the cross. He's going to clear it again. Now they're both going to go bottom feeding in 3 and 4. He really rocking the berm there. Now we saw Trapper last week, top 2, ended up getting wadded up together, nearly won the race, running the opposite groove by himself. We're kind of set up for a similar situation here as this race comes in its waning phases. And look at Cornette, he's just not afraid on entry to really send it on in there. He's really having a much better time on entry, but now coming into 1 and 2, they're going to be running the fence. That's going to make it a lot harder. Driving it down the hill there off of 2. Stuck at about 3/10 back, and now here we comes with Manning. Manning's running right on that bottom of the track this time by. You can see right behind Trapper kind of running the berm there. He's having a harder time running the bottom compared to Manning and Cornette, because when he runs the bottom, he just kind of mutilates the berm there and upsets the car, and that's why he's dropping back so far. But these top 2 really have that finite line kind of down to a science. But it looks like that bottom may be starting to go. Cornette kind of gained a little bit there through 3 and 4, running the top, but now they're both running the top this time by through 1 and 2. We'll see what happens through 3 and 4. Bannon goes to the bottom of the track. He's bottom feeding, and then here comes Cornette rim riding on the outside. 4/10, 3/10, watching that interval change. Maybe we'll do it from our chopper cam this time by. Maybe we can get a better perspective of the difference in the lines and the closing rates. The Manning running that bottom of the racetrack, and look at that gap. And does it gain on exit? To be honest, it really doesn't. So it looks like Manning has really kind of figured it out and is making it work here. While that's kind of ceased, let's figure out what's going on back here. Mike Brewer to the inside, Dean Reynolds. He has got himself into a top 5 spot, trying to make it a top 4 spot. Remember, he won that heat, had to battle himself back from the invert there, 10th up to 5th here. Brewer to the inside. Now looks like Reynolds is going to have that preferred groove on the outside, so I think he will get it in time. But up front, it does look like that lead is shrinking. Was a half second, now it's down to a quarter of a second. Now he's in send it range, he's in the slider line range. Manning's going to use the top of the track, only has a car length or 2 lead. They're going to run the bottom here. Can't leave the door open because Cornette will fill it here as we come to the white flag. One more time around the Knoxville Raceway. They're both on the outside. 2 got into the fence there. Is that enough to cost him the race here? He's about 3/10 back. I think Manning's going to run the protective line there right on the bottom of the track, and he doesn't lift a wheel. He's going to keep it right down there, run the defensive line perfectly, and he's going to come off before Gavin Manning wins here in Knoxville. Brady Cornette in second, and Bobby Trapper with an impressive third place running here this evening. Manning, he ran essentially the best defense you could ever imagine here. All right, we're going to be back radio style for these interviews, guys. All of a sudden, iRacing just decided to crash there at the absolute end of the session here. So we're going to have to do these interviews radio style. unfortunately. Well, it is what it is. But Manning with the win there. Cornett with second. Bobby Trapper in third. Dean Reynolds in fourth. Mike Brewer with the fifth. Jason Freeman in sixth. Bobby Puckett in seventh. Kyle Rochinski in eighth. And then Brian Rubel in ninth. Nathan Merrill with the 10th. Sam Bachman in 11th. We have Travis Brockner in 12th, Duante Carner in 13th, Carter Rochinski with the 14th, Zach Weisenflew in 15th, Carson Sylvester in 16th, and then Eric Bonham in the 17th spot this evening. But we're going to head right to Victory Lane and caught up with Gavin. Gavin, you got a copy?
I got a copy, Corey. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I was saying you pretty much, a lot of sports teams would be very proud of that defense you played there at the very end. I think Cornett was faster, but you knew when to go high, when to go low, and you kind of held justice there. Talk about holding them off there for those last 15, 20 laps.
Yeah, you know, it takes a lot of time and effort to get to where you can run like that for that many laps on the, like, top 1 and 2, pretty easy. Drive it in on the cush and let her eat. And bottom 3 and 4, that was the tough part. You got to stay off that berm, or you got to even use it a little bit. Keep your stuff pointing in the right direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you did it. And I know it must have been scary there because you never knew if you were going to slip. You know, running that bottom, you had so little. Just talk about running that inside lane. I know there was so little room there for error because if you slipped right into the slick there, he was going to have you. What was it like there, finessing it on the inside against the berm?
I'll tell you what, Corey. This is exactly how it was. I would just drive it in. You got to stick the moisture getting in, you know. You got to get that left front, maybe hit the berm a little bit, maybe not. I don't know. That's what I was doing. It was working. I was getting the twitches and stuff, just trying to stay right up on there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you did it. You did it as a pro, man. You get yourself into Victory Lane here. We head into the Bull Ring next week at Limaland. What's your thought process heading into that place?
Limaland, it's always a good track, especially in these fixed races where it's all the cars are the same. It's especially there because it's pretty easy to run, so almost anybody can be fast there. I mean, there's a little bit of an edge to gain, but not much, so it'll be pretty close.
All right, man. Well, congrats again on the win. Any shout-outs you want to give for your efforts here this evening?
Oh, yeah. I want to thank everybody that helps me out. Oh, Addicted to Dirt Racing, my buddy Carson Sylvester, Kyler Conrad, he was help spotting there, Leo Dompina, all the boys back home, my mom, my dad, fuck, my grandma even.
Oh, don't want to cut you off, man.
Oh, I'm all good.
All right, man. Well, congrats again, and maybe we'll talk to you on the podium sometime later this season.
Sure will. Have a good one.
Too, man. All right, and then second place, Brady Cornett. That must be a frustrating one, man. I know how you feel about the inverts, but you drove yourself about 10th, 12th back up to the front there. But Manning just had absolute clutch defense there, and he just couldn't find a way around it. Just talk about what the battle was like those last 15, 20 laps.
Oh man, it was fun. Just knew that we just had to play our cards right, and we just messed up a little bit there. Missed the bottom one time and slipped up to the top, and I got a good drive off, so I figured I would try it, but the bottom was just so good coming off 4, and Gavin, he did a really good job. He didn't mess up. We gave it all we had coming from 12th, and car was probably a little damaged. Got into a couple people there. I don't know, man. It's just frustrating coming from 12th every race, but I mean, I ain't complaining. We're probably still ahead points. It's just fun. I'm having fun.
That's all that matters, man. It's fun at the end of the day. I asked this to Gavin. I'll ask it to you. What was it like there, just having to, there's such a small room for error there running that bottom? You had to really just stick that left front either on the berm or right there next to it. How much finesse and how many times did it? You have to really back yourself down so you didn't slip into the slick there.
Yeah, Gavin was really backing his corner entry up, so I just knew I could drive it in a little harder, and when I saw him let off, that's when I needed to ease off the throttle. These cars, you just got so much motor, you slip up, drive it in too hard, you're going to go slipping and sliding, and I just knew I had to stay about a quarter throttle in the corners and just ride around and wait for him to mess up, which he didn't do, so I just figured I'd put it up on the top and see if it had anything, and it didn't, so I don't know. Just a all-around fun race, funly to run.
Yeah, well, happy to have you back on the podium again, man. Any shout-outs you want to give for your efforts here this evening?
Yes, sir. I just need to thank Zach Weisenflue. He was there in Discord. He got wrecked early in the race, and he was spotting for me there and telling me where to go. Got to thank Blackjack Racing, all the guys back there. They really put effort into what they do, and I'm glad to be a part of the team and be able to run with them every night. It really made me 10 times better of a driver. Just got to thank all my marketing partners on my real car, CMP Automotive, Bailey Farms, Dalrymple Realty, Summit Road Auto, Capital Race Cars, Capital Custom Paint, B&B Race Engines, Circle of Friends Daycare, the Dairy Queen of Hartwell. Just got to thank everybody that helps us on this thing.
All right. Well, congrats again on a solid run, man, and we'll probably talk to you next week, or hopefully as long as you have a good run.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So that's a broadcast here on PTRTV. Again, I don't know why iRacing decided to crash there at the very end and do the radio style interviews, but thanks again for everyone watching in. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. We'll be back Thursday night with the Red Sox Racing League. We'll be back Monday night for the season finale of the Spartan Sim Racing League, and then we'll be back Tuesday with race number 4 of the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series. Have a great night, everyone. It's Corey signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.